Thanos is undoubtedly going to be the greatest challenge the Avengers and the Guardians of the Galaxy have ever come across before, but the question lingers as to what Thanos' fate is going to be after the Avengers movies come to a conclusion. And on this video here today, we're going to be discussing Thanos' overall fate going into the fourth Avengers film, if in fact it'll suit the narrative in having Thanos either be killed off, if it's even possible for that to even happen, or more or less sealing him off, saving him for a later movie. And again, I do want to say that this is going to be an open discussion video, so if you guys have any opinions or comments to add on to the overall conversation, then go on ahead and drop your opinions down the comment section below and pertains to Thanos possibly being killed off in the fourth Avengers movie, and if so, who is going to be the person to do so. And again, I do want to say that if you guys are new to this channel, be sure to go on ahead and punch that subscribe button and turn on notifications. That way you guys can be notified whenever a video is posted onto this channel. Hashtag notification squad. And joining me to tackle this subject here today is my good friend Devil Artemis. Now Devil Artemis, my first question to you is, do you feel that in your opinion that Thanos is going to be killed off in the fourth Avengers movie, or will he somehow escape the situation having to be later saved for another movie?
Well, first off, Alex, I want to thank you for having me on the channel.
Anytime,
again, man. But I think that honestly what's going to end up happening is the Avengers are going to have to find a way to defeat Thanos, and if it has to come to the point where they're going to kill him off, I feel they're trying to prepare for something bigger than Thanos.
Really?
Yeah, and I mean, I know that Fox owns Galactus.
Galactus would be, you know, the be-all, end-all, but again, it's just when it comes down to rights and whatnot, like ownage, it's just you can't. For Fox to give that up, first of all, having Galactus be introduced would be amazing, but it'll be a very long process for them to give that up, especially if you want to have Thanos be killed off. But do you think that's going to be possible, or will he somehow escape?
No, I think they will kill him off, because you know what it is.
Really?
Adam Warlock. Yeah, Adam Warlock happens to be one of the many characters who has killed.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And of course, not counting, we have Drax, who killed off Thanos, Thane, Adam Warlock, Silver Surfer. So those are some characters. But you think it's going to be Adam Warlock in your opinion?
Well, yeah. Adam Warlock was introduced at the end of the Guardians of the Galaxy movie, the second one.
Right.
For those, spoiler alert. I'm sorry. Spoiler alert for anybody who has not seen. At the end of Guardians of the Galaxy 2, Adam Warlock is revealed that, you know, she's going to name her creation Adam. So Adam Warlock is being introduced. And I think, you know, they're doing that so that Adam, maybe he'll come in at the end of the movie or something's going to happen and he's going to take out Thanos. That's one possibility. If they do end up saving Thanos, what could happen is, again, this movie split into two parts.
Right.
So we have to take into consideration that maybe during this first movie, Thanos might not get all the Infinity Stones. You know, maybe this first movie this is only the first part of the Infinity Wars. So in the first part, you know, Thanos can get some of the stones, not all of them. In the second part is probably the climax of the whole story, where he gets all the Infinity Stones, and you know, the Warriors, the Avengers, they all have new allies such as Adam Warlock or whatever. Like, you know, it depends on what happens in the first movie, but I think that by the end of this all, to answer your question, yeah, Thanos is probably going to get wrecked, and he's probably
I would love to see Thanos, and I agree. And for those of you who haven't seen our previous Avengers discussion, I highly encourage you guys to check it out, as seen on your screen right now. But I think that, in my opinion, Thanos, because we have different variations of Thanos in the comics. We've seen one variation where the Avengers took him out. We saw another variation where Drax took him out. There was another variation where Silver Surfer took him out, and then, you know, there were so many different ones. And depending on which direction they want to go in, I feel as if it's gonna suck to see him go, because he is a very, very formidable, you know, opponent for the Avengers. And we've seen him clean house before, especially in the animated shows where he was using the time gem to reverse time and allowing everyone to age, and then destroying them there, using the stone of, I think it's the power gem, just eradicating everybody. And I agree. I think the next step after Thanos would be Galactus. However, some people may agree or disagree in saying, well, we could always do this character or that character, but I think that Galactus would fit the mold, especially going in the future, because this is a 10-year culmination, dude. This goes back to 2008 when Iron Man was first introduced, and people would argue that the Marvel comics are really riddled with SAO, SWJ, and you know, just messages of, like, you know, social justice, you know, messages. It kind of convolutes the overall movies, right? But I think that, in my opinion, I think the person that might take down Thanos might be Drax, even though it's a little unlikely because we might have Dane do it, we might have Adam Warlock do it. Silver Surfer would be great, but Silver Surfer has not been confirmed to be in any Avenger film, nor do they have the rights for him, you know, for like the Fantastic Four and whatnot. But my second question to you is, let's say he does get killed off. Do you believe that first they're gonna have to completely disarm him from the Infinity Gauntlet, or can they just use the Infinity Gauntlet while he still has it in his possession against them in trying to reverse whatever he does, you know, onto himself? For example, there was one animated cartoon where he tried to reverse time and get them all to age, and then he wiped them all out. And I think Tony Stark did something to where he reversed the time gem on Thanos, and then Thanos aged, you know, very, very rapidly, and then he had to reverse time to go back to that previous point where the Avengers weren't killed. So there are multiple ways how to go about this, but how do you see him dying? Disarming him from the Infinity Gauntlet? Even if that happens, right? How do they do that? How do you disarm the Mad Titan from wielding the Infinity Gauntlet, in your opinion?
My prediction as to what's gonna happen is, I don't think that Thanos, this is my prediction of what I think is gonna happen in the movie.
Right.
I don't think Thanos is gonna end up getting all the Infinity Stones
in the third movie, right? Or the fourth movie?
In the first one, the
third movie, right? Because the fourth one's coming out in 2019. Following up with that.
Right. So I don't think he's gonna get all the Infinity Stones. If they're gonna go to an extreme, he'll probably get 4 out of the 5, and the only one that he's gonna be missing is the time gem. So what I think is going to be happen is Doctor Strange is going to play a very big part into the movie, and basically Tony Stark's vision is going to come true where everybody's dead except himself, and he's going to use the time gem to go back in time and stop the effects of Civil War. He stops everything from happening. You get what I'm saying? Like he prevents everything negative from happening in order to prepare for Thanos, and that's how they defeat him in part 2. You get what I'm saying?
Right. Going back, predating all that. But what about all right? So speaking of going back in time, what about having us revisit the Age of Ultron movie when Tony Stark was witnessing all of the Avengers pretty much killed off and they were all on the ground and stuff? Was this a foreshadowing of Thanos' wrath, or was this something to where, you know, it just foreshadowed Ultron's vision in trying to destroy the world? Because for me, the message that I got out of this was, surely enough, Ultron was going to level the entire planet if, of course, he had the opportunity to do so without the Avengers being there. But I think that this definitely foreshadowed the end of the Avengers, because, spoiler alert, if you guys don't want to hear about this, please fast forward about 60 seconds in from this part now. So it has been rumored right now that Thanos is going to kill off a majority of the Avengers, including the Guardians. If anything, he's going to wipe out at least 95% of them, in killing them off completely, which is something that a lot of people have been asking for in a villain, because so far in the Marvel Universe, there hasn't been a villain introduced that put, you know, the Avengers in their place, or the Guardians. So they actually, you know, went out of their way to accidentally reveal some things and some characters dying. They didn't mention by name, but they did say that he's going to have such an effect to where at least 95% of the Avengers are going to go. So, which makes sense. And going back to your theory of having, you know, Doctor Strange reverse time and going back and stopping the effects and trying to prevent this from happening. So what I wanted to ask you is, do you think that that vision that Tony had in Age of Ultron of everyone dying off and everyone being dead, and Captain America saying you could have prevented this, do you think that that was a foreshadowing of what's going to happen here, or do you think that that was specifically focused in on what Ultron's story was about?
No, I think that the ways that, you know, the way that I feel like Marvel works, they might show something early on in an earlier movie, but it's gonna come into play later. Like when the very first Avengers came out, who would have thought, you know, that the cube was an Infinity Stone? You know what I'm saying? Like who would have seen it coming that these different stones from the Avengers were gonna come into play one day with Thanos? You know, we didn't figure it out until the sequel, right? In Age of Ultron, when Thanos was introduced at the credit scene, right? Wasn't that the credit scene that he put on the gauntlet, or was that in another movie? I think it was in Avengers 2, right?
Which one?
Where he puts on the gauntlet and he says, "Fine, I'll do it myself."
Yeah, that was the end of the Avengers 2 when he said, "Fine, I'll do it myself." Yeah.
Yeah, and Age of Ultron is when they kind of like confirmed Thanos that he was gonna come and take care of the Avengers himself. Now we have to keep in mind, before that, in the very first Avengers movie, no one would have seen Thanos coming. Nobody would have seen the whole Infinity Stones coming. It was just a mashup of all the heroes for the very first time from all their different universes. It was a collision of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, you know?
Right.
These type of movies haven't been done before where characters share the same universe,
Right.
unless it's a sequel of the same series. So like X-Men 1, X2, X-Men 3, Last Stand, whatever, those are all in the same universe, and Logan is as well. Days of Future Past, they're all in the same universe, but they're the same series by the same, you know, characters. I feel like, you know, Captain America being one series, Iron Man another, Hulk another. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Spider-Man another. These are completely different characters, each with their own individual backstories that all coexist in the same universe.
Right.
So it's really nice to see, you know, that all of it comes together. But Thanos, definitely, there's something's gonna happen with time manipulation, and I'm guaranteeing you that's how they're gonna fix it. It's gonna be time manipulation.
So, do you think that it's possible for him to be sealed away, perhaps, or maybe he escapes, saving him for something else down the line? Even though it's a little highly unlikely, depending on which comic you're going off of, because Christ, there are so many different variations that depict so many different stories, and that's what piques my interest, is seeing the direction of what's going to happen here. And I think that the way they ought to fight him, this ought to be a battle of like universal proportion. Like I think that in no way, shape, or form should any of them have the advantage, until, of course, unless they completely disarm him from the Infinity Gauntlet. But even then, without the Infinity Gauntlet, he is strong. Like, he is like terrifyingly strong. So I would say without the Gauntlet, do you still see the Avengers standing a chance? Or do you still see it being a very difficult battle, even without the Gauntlet being present?
Without the Gauntlet, Thanos is a force to be reckoned with, man.
Right.
Thanos is, you know, he really is fucking strong. He's like, he's a very, very, very dangerous individual, definitely.
Very, yes.
Even with one of the stones, he's dangerous. With one of the stones, he's insanely dangerous.
Right.
Now, like I said, Thanos is this big, you know, bad guy. He's gonna be the newest, biggest bad guy in the Avengers film. But I really, really just want to see Marvel acquire the rights to other villains. It doesn't even have to be Galactus. Someone like Magneto.
Okay.
Yeah, or even Doctor Doom to be included into these Marvel movies.
Right, or they could, or they could do the Skrulls. I mean, you know.
Well, but I mean more of the popular characters, like the X-Men characters. Like, it doesn't even have to be the X-Men cast. It could be like, you know, somebody playing Wolverine, or it could be Magneto, or we can use Doctor Doom from the Fantastic Four. Even if it was Johnny Storm, which would be funny to see because Johnny Storm is played by Captain America's actor. What's his name?
Chris Evans.
Yeah, Chris Evans. He played Johnny Storm in the Fantastic Four. But my point stands that the fact that Marvel needs to make a smart business move in utilizing their characters to the fullest. I get it, they're trying to go with Adam Warlock. You know, they're reintroducing Adam Warlock. But to be honest, the most popular characters that fit in the whole the world is in danger crisis is Doctor Doom, Silver Surfer, Galactus, and Thanos. Those are the top four that I would think most notably that everybody knows, and with the whole like, oh, the world's gonna end type ordeal. These characters, extremely dangerous. Doctor Doom has stolen Galactus's powers. Doctor Doom, fucking badass. Magneto is extremely powerful, like triple S class demon, bro. Mutant.
Right.
Triple, you know, he is one of the most dangerous mutants on the planet. All right,
Right.
Like, these characters have to be utilized. They should try to acquire the rights. Fuck Galactus. If they want to save Galactus for later on, or they just can't acquire Galactus, even getting Doctor Doom and doing him right.
Yes.
If you give it to the Marvel Universe, who have been doing the characters right, they haven't been doing wrong by the characters like Fox has. Fox has done horrible by the characters.
Oh, absolutely. You
know, it is until you know, like Deadpool is another recent hero who was being used, and Deadpool was done perfectly. The very first version of Deadpool was complete trash.
No, it wasn't good at all. Now people complained,
Yeah, so I mean, I feel like, right, if they do it right, if they do Doctor Doom correctly, instead of what they did in the Fantastic Four reboot, the original Fantastic Four made Doctor Doom actually look a little bit more like Doctor Doom than the reboot. Right. You know, at least they made him look like Doctor Doom. Like, Jesus, like this guy, you know, he has a metal mask. Okay, he has a green robe. I get it. He looks at least like Doctor Doom. This guy looked like a I don't know, like some kind of
like a complete ripoff. But the thing about Thanos is like he wields such power that I feel like it'll be a little sad to see him go so quickly, because with two movies, it's like you can already expect him to trash everybody in the first film that comes out in 2018, and then you already know during the sequence of 2019's film with the Avengers 4, it's going to be winding down to where Thanos now is going to be getting his butt kicked, as opposed to him kicking butt. So by the end of it, I can definitely see him going. I wouldn't want him to die, because I would love for him to be involved at least at some given point in the future, you know, having some sort of role at least once more, because again, we have different variations of Thanos in the comics, and he's returned multiple times before. So, but the same thing can be said about Ultron too. There were certain cases where he came back as well from near-death experiences, whatever. But by the end of it, I agree. I think that Thanos is going to be killed off by the fourth movie, even though I wouldn't want him to, you know, to go out that way. You're saying that by the end of it, you think that it's going to involve Doctor Strange, correct? Or Adam Warlock?
Yeah, I think it's going to involve, well, with Adam Warlock.
Because I'm saying it's Drax, bro. I think Drax is going to be the one, but, you know, because there's history there.
I don't think Drax has enough, you know, popularity to do it. I mean,
right.
There's a lot of stories that they can use with Thanos. Like you mentioned before that, you know, Thanos has been revived and stuff like that. Like Thanos has had clones. Thanos has been revived. But to do that, like, you need characters that Fox has. Like Galactus has awoken and revived Thanos. But in order for them to do that storyline, they need Galactus. But I think, you know, now that they're including Adam Warlock, the fact that Adam Warlock has defeated Thanos, I feel like since they introduced him in Guardians of the Galaxy 2, it's for a reason. They're gonna use him, and I think that's the purpose that he's that he's being used.
Serving, yeah.
You know, since they can't bring any bigger characters than what they already own, they have to utilize older characters. Nobody knows who the fuck Adam Warlock is. Not a majority of, you know. A majority of people didn't even care about Guardians of the Galaxy until the movie. And then the movie,
same thing with Black Panther as well, yeah.
Exactly. Black Panther wasn't as popular either. And then with the movies, fucking Black Panther is awesome. Like, everybody's like, holy shit, his suit is amazing.
Yeah,
like,
for sure,
you know,
for sure.
But like I said, I think Adam Warlock at the end of it all is probably going to be the one who defeats Galactus, the one who defeats Thanos.
Thanos, yeah.
Yeah, and then if anything, they're going to use time manipulation to fix everything. For sure.
I definitely feel, in my opinion, that the Avengers movies are going to be possibly movies of the year. I mean, I'm not saying that because I'm fanboying out. It's because it's going to have a great storyline based on the directors that are, you know, behind this project, and, you know, the producers and stuff, and just having a culmination of everything that's happened in the world of Marvel come on the big screen and fighting the one villain that's been, you know, terrorizing the universe, and now having to terrorize the current existence of the universe is going to be fantastic to see. Devil Artemis, I do want to say thank you so much for joining me, and again, guys, I do want to say thank you all so much for watching. If you guys have opinions of your own to add, agreements, disagreements, let me know down below. We would love to hear your thoughts. And again, if you guys enjoyed the video, if you guys want to see more Infinity War Avengers discussions, guys, go on ahead and leave a like down below and let us know. And if you guys are new to the channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, guys, and turn on notifications. That way you guys can be notified whenever a video is posted onto this channel. And of course, subscribe to Devil Artemis as well, guys. He posts tons of content on his channel as well. I will link it down in the description, guys. Thank you all so much for watching, and we'll be seeing you all in the next video. Take it easy, guys. Peace.